A few years ago, the AI debate was mostly about chatbots that could sound smart. Now the argument is sharper. In a February 2026 Business Insider interview, former Google X leader Mo Gaudet said AI is moving into a dangerous phase. That phrase sounds dramatic, but the real question behind it is simpler. What happens when AI stops being just a tool that answers questions and starts becoming a system that can take action? That is the shift we need to understand. Not because a robot apocalypse is around the corner, but because the gap between capability and control is getting wider. We already have models that write, plan, summarize, code, recommend, and coordinate. The next step is not more conversation. It is more agency. And once software begins to act with less direct supervision, the risk does not come from one single catastrophic moment. It comes from 1,000 smaller decisions, made faster than people can review them. That is why the most dangerous phase is not necessarily the most powerful AI. It may be the phase where the systems are strong enough to move the world, but our institutions still treat them like better autocomplete. That is not just a consumer product shift. It changes how software fits into companies, offices, and public systems. The key technical change is not that AI became magical. It is that AI became agentic. In plain language, that means a system can pursue a goal with less direct human supervision. It can break a task into steps, use tools, ask for more context, and carry work forward instead of waiting for the next prompt. That sounds helpful, and often it is, but it also changes the failure mode. A chatbot can say something wrong. An agent can do something wrong. It can send the wrong message, make the wrong purchase, expose the wrong data, or follow a bad instruction all the way through. That is why Frontier Labs now publish preparedness and scaling policies that treat autonomy, cyber abuse, biomisuse, and self-improvement as separate risk buckets. They are not doing that because they enjoy paperwork. They are doing it because the risk surface has expanded. NIST says AI risk management has to be continuous across the whole life cycle, not a one-time checklist. That is the real backdrop for this story. The danger is not that intelligence exists. The danger is that intelligence is being wired into systems that can act before the humans around them fully understand the consequences. The point is not that every agent is dangerous. The point is that the same tools that help people also make failures harder to notice and faster to spread. The easiest mistake here is to talk only about future catastrophe and ignore the harm that is already here. We do not have to guess whether AI can be abused at scale. The FBI's 2025 Internet Crime Report says cyber-enabled crimes defrauded Americans of nearly $21 billion. And AI-related complaints were among the costliest. That does not prove AI is evil. It proves that cheap, fast, persuasive automation is a gift to scammers, fraudsters, and cybercriminals. It also proves that the public is not reacting to a fantasy. People are already being targeted by voice clones, fake identities, phishing campaigns, and automated deception. And the scary part is that these attacks do not need perfect AI. They only need AI that is good enough, available enough, and scalable enough. That is the threshold we have crossed. Once persuasion becomes cheap, the old assumption that a scam has to be labor-intensive starts to fail. A cloned voice can sound convincing enough to beat a 5-minute warning and fast enough to turn one mistake into a wire transfer. So when someone says the dangerous phase is still in the future, that is already behind the curve. The more accurate answer is that parts of it have already started. The next pressure point is work. This is where the loudest predictions get oversimplified, because AI will replace all jobs is too crude to be useful. The ILO's Refined Global Index says about 1 in 4 workers are in occupations with some Gen AI exposure, and 3.3% of global employment falls into the highest exposure category. That is serious, but it is not the same thing as saying 1 in 4 people will be unemployed. Most jobs are bundles of tasks, and AI usually attacks tasks first. Some parts of a job get automated. Other parts become more valuable. New workflows appear. Sometimes the title survives, and the day-to-day work changes completely. The World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report 2025 points in that direction too. 170 million jobs are projected to be created this decade, 92 million displaced, for a net gain of 78 million. So the story is not a simple collapse story. It is a transition story. But transitions are where people get hurt. They are where wages lag, Roles disappear faster than people can retrain, and entire industries start to reorganize before the social safety net catches up. And that pain will not be evenly distributed. Digital, repeatable work tends to feel the pressure first, while jobs built on physical presence, judgment, or trust usually change more slowly. If the danger is really a transition problem, then governance is the bottleneck. NIST's AI risk management framework treats AI safety as a continuous process. Map the system, measure the risks, manage them, and keep doing it as the model, the tools, and the deployment change. That sounds obvious until you remember how fast the field is moving. OpenAI's preparedness work and Anthropic's scaling policies show that the labs themselves are trying to build guardrails around autonomy and catastrophic misuse. But a policy is not the same thing as universal control. It is a signal of concern, a set of thresholds, and an attempt to keep pace. The problem is that deployment is now happening across consumer apps, office software, code tools, customer support systems, and enterprise workflows all at once. So governance is no longer a single gate in front of one model. It is an ongoing race across many systems. Even when the policy language is thoughtful, the real world is messier. Every product team wants to ship, every enterprise wants ROI, and every competitor is moving at the same time. That is why this phase feels dangerous, even to people who are not doomers. The technology is scaling in one direction, while oversight is still being assembled in pieces. So what is the honest answer? Yes, this can be called the most dangerous phase, if by dangerous we mean transition risk, misuse, institutional lack, and a widening gap between capability and accountability. No, it should not be called dangerous if the claim is that collapse is inevitable, or that every job, company, or society is about to be wiped out. That would be stronger than the evidence. The better conclusion is more uncomfortable and more useful. AI is entering a phase where the tools are powerful enough to reshape work, persuasion, and decision-making. But the rules for using them safely are still catching up. That means the main threat is not one spectacular failure. It is a long stretch of confusion, abuse, displacement, and half-finished safeguards. In other words, the danger is not that AI will suddenly become a villain. It is that the world may keep integrating it faster than it can govern it. And if that is the phase we are in, then the smartest response is not panic. It is clarity, pressure, and much better systems before the next wave gets here. The fix is not to reject AI outright. It is to demand better verification, better auditing, and better human control before blind trust becomes the default.